So what's new in Minecraft 1.19.3? Well, this update has had 5 snapshots, 3 pre-releases and a release candidate as of the time of recording this video. And much of this has been covered in detail on my channel with the regular update videos. But there has been somewhat of an issue here. These updates were both for 1.19.3 and 1.20. So consider this a reminder of what's in 1.19.3. And this will be on the brief side, as I've already covered much of the updates already. Let's start with the creative inventory. There is a lot to take in here as all of the blocks have been rearranged. Some of these blocks now appear in multiple tabs. The categories have been changed, additional tabs have been added too. And in controls you can set operator items tab to on or off. It's this tab down the bottom here that gives you access to all of these tools, including the debug stick and command blocks. There are many other minor tweaks and changes too. For example, the firework rocket now tells you its flight duration. An iron golem and a snow golem spawn egg were added, along with spawn eggs for the wither and the ender dragon, which you'll have to access using commands. There is also the inclusion of the monster spawner. When you place it down, it will no longer have a pig inside of it by default. You'll have to right click on it with a spawn egg to set what mob it spawns. This block is now also compatible with the pick block feature, meaning you can control middle click it and then paste it down with the same MBT data. When it comes to mobs, transporting them with leads is going to be much easier now, as they're not going to accumulate full damage. So as long as you drop them down gently, you can actually keep them on leads for as long as you like. So as we land these here, well, it looks like one of them took a nasty fall, but the rest managed to land nicely. Due to the size of the horse's hitbox, it could actually go through a nether portal and then be misplaced inside of the obsidian, taking damage on the other side. But now when you go through, they are aligned so they don't take damage. They're not inside of the obsidian blocks and they're safe. 2 changes for mob spawning. Mobs are no longer able to spawn on top of chorus flowers or chorus fruit, and they can't spawn on scaffolding either. This block also had its texture slightly changed. There are mob spawning changes in the Nether dimension. The Enderman, the Ghast, the Skeleton and the Wither Skeleton. These mobs will now only spawn at light level 7 instead of 11. And 11 is the light level that a portal emits, so this change has been made to stop overpowered farms that use portals to bring these mobs instantly into the overworld. The rabbit mob will now always drop some food when it's killed, and if it's killed by fire, that food will drop cooked. You can now use a fire charge to ignite a creeper and make it explode. Endermen will now drop all items that they can pick up correctly. For example, this potted dandelion and cactus used to drop incorrectly, but the Endermen have been adjusted so they can now use loot tables and they will drop both items that they're technically holding at once. This, for example, also works with an Enderman if it picks up a cake that's got a candle on top of it. Although the cake does not actually drop, of course. And a bug that's been around for far too long, when you breed turtles, both of them will now receive the 5-minute cooldown after breeding, so you can't abuse turtle breeding. The Vex mob has had its texture overhauled, so it's more in line with that of the Allay, which is of course a similar shape and size. It does still seem to have some see-through effect at the bottom of its texture. We can see through the ice. Speaking of the Allay, its behaviour and pathfinding and certain characteristics were changed slightly to match that of Bedrock Edition. And these changes were mostly for the better, so your Allay should be a little bit smarter in your world. Although it's not screaming for me, this is a screaming goat, and previously you'd need 2 of them to be bred together to create another screaming goat, whereas now you have a chance to get a screaming goat baby if you breed it with just 1 screaming goat. And last of all, if the mob or a player is on fire, you can put them out with a splash water bottle. Shulker boxes will now pop off attached blocks when they are opened. For example, a torch, item frame, or button, these now pop off. Status effects now work for the highest amount of time that you can input into them. Previously, these would have just had stars instead of numbers. Water buckets can now be emptied into waterlogged blocks. If I were to click on the top of this slab, it does nothing, but previously it would have put the water source directly above. The deep dark biome had a bug that caused extra copper ore to spawn inside of it, so if you've been going here looking for that, you'll find less of it now. The shield now correctly works with these 3 types of explosion. The end crystal, intentional game design, which is using a bed in the wrong dimension, and from a Ghast's fireball attack. And you may have heard that 7 new skins were announced at Minecraft Live this year. With 1.19.3, these can be selected in your launcher and now fully supported by the game. In the game's main menu, these yellow splash texts were added. You are valid, I'm glad you're here, you are welcome here, your gender is valid, contains infinite genders, made with larvae. You're also now able to change the rate at which the panorama in the background changes. This can be found in accessibility settings, panorama scroll speed. Also in the controls menu is the operator items tab we mentioned earlier, and there is this whole new button, telemetry data. Inside of here you can choose how much information you want to give to Mojang for them to use to optimize and improve the game. And you can find all the information here about everything that is collected. You've also got this button which is going to generate a file on your hard drive, and it's inside of here that you can find all of your own data to look at. The Open to LAN feature has now changed so that you can have a custom port number when you create a LAN server, and this means that the publish command has been changed. This is the equivalent of using the Open to LAN menu but through an interface like this, so you can tell what game mode it is and then you can put a port number at the end. There is also a new fill biome command, so you can use this to select an area of the world and change the biome that it's in, and that's why the grass tint here changed, because I made this a jungle biome. This command also has a filter option, so you can specify a specific biome that will be replaced. And this can now also be used with the execute command, so you can run an if statement, as in execute this command if you're in a particular biome. There are 7 new game rules, and global sound events is for defeating the Wither or the Ender Dragon, the sound that plays across the server. You can set this to false to stop that from happening. So what's wrong with this right here? We're not getting our water sources back, are we? Yeah, over here we'll actually get our lava back. That's because there are 2 game rules, water source conversion and lava source conversion, enabling you to turn this on or off for each of them. And the default, as you expect, will be water is on and lava is off. When it's raining and you're in a snowy biome, it snows and puts down layers of snow on flat surface blocks. There is now a game rule for how many layers of this snow can accumulate, the highest being 8. So this means as it snows in the area, these layers can get higher and higher. And there are game rules for explosion drop decay, specifically blocks, mobs, i.e. creepers, and TNT. And this simply defines if those explosion types are going to drop every block that gets blown up or only just some of them. And again, their default settings are as the game currently is. Now this update also introduced what's known as feature flags, the ability for the game to flag a certain feature inside of the code as being for a future update. This means that when you create a new world and you go to data packs, you'll be able to see what features for future updates are available over here and then select them. And these feature flags are stored per world to make it safer for the player. As you'll see in this menu here, there's now this experimental tag, so it lets you know that you've enabled experimental things and that this world might not work in the future as a result of that. And this lastly brings me to 1.20. I figured I would also tell you what you've seen that isn't going to be in 1.19.3, like this rather cute piglin head that I'm wearing. The ability for these heads to hold references to sounds and for the note blocks to play them is a 1.20 feature. There was also the inclusion of all the bamboo blocks and of course the bamboo raft. Hanging signs are a new addition of the next update. The fantastic chiseled bookshelf, which you can now put the books into the custom slot that you want. And last but not least, let's not forget about the camel that can be ridden by 2 players at once. As I said earlier in the video, if you want to know the details about these, you can find them in the updates playlist. But if you're not looking for that right now, how about checking out my latest video where Minecraft's inventory issues have been solved by a mod that we've created? Well, that depends on your opinion of this mod, but come by and check out this video and see exactly what it does. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the channel to catch all my future videos and leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you later, bye bye.